Welcome to the City Biz audience. You are in for a treat today. I'm here with a dear friend and an incredibly inspiring woman, Amanda Marino. We are going to talk today about Amanda's journey, but I have a lot of questions, so I'm just going to dive in. Amanda, your journey of overcoming adversity to advocacy and empowerment is incredibly inspiring. And by the way, I know your podcast is called Overcoming Adversity. Can you share the journey that led you from your own struggles with addiction and body dysmorphia to becoming a certified intervention professional and recovery coach?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here. I feel very fortunate to be able to share this story, right? Not everybody gets out of the things that they've gone through. So I went through childhood abuse, mental health struggles as a child. My mother was abused in front of me. So I didn't have a very good foundation for growing up. Children need safety, they need structure, they need stability. I didn't have those things. So I didn't have, I had a loving mother that was there for me and was willing to do anything for me no matter what. So I did have that. And I was, given an opportunity when I became a mother to really change my life and work on myself at 26 years old. I did. And I've made it my life's mission to give back and to let people know that no matter what they've gone through, that they can get through to the other side and that there's hope and help available.
I know, and I love that about you. I think it's incredibly inspirational and empowering for so many men and women. So, I know you talk about the power of storytelling in recovery, and recovery can mean so many things too. It doesn't have to mean addiction to a substance. It's like everybody's in some sort of healing or recovery in their path and journey in life. So, what role do you think storytelling through platforms like reality TV, because you've been on two reality TV shows, plays in breaking the stigma around mental health and addiction?
Thank you. Great question. I think that it humanizes us. I think if I heard from a mutual friend that, oh my goodness, Amanda, you struggle with low self-esteem. I would have never thought that about you. Well, I struggle with low self-esteem. There's many things that I've gone through. I think the more openly for myself, that I share about it and I connect with people about my struggles, then maybe they'll feel a little more comfortable to tell someone. So many people feel deeply ashamed inside and don't tell even one person what's really going on. And I'm not saying you have to be like me and come on a podcast and, share with the whole entire world, but to find one person that you feel safe telling, hey, I'm really struggling. I'm really hurting inside, or I'm really depressed, or I don't feel good enough. It's okay. We're all going through something.
Absolutely. And I think that's key there, right? Just telling people, because sometimes it's like from the outside looking in, everything looks perfect, but there's hurt there. So if you're not sharing with people, they won't know. And that's such a great message and it's such a great takeaway. So there are unique challenges in the entertainment industry. And I know you've been in the entertainment industry for many years. And maybe you can, dig a little into that a bit and share a lot about your background here. So, with your background in the entertainment industry, what unique challenges do you see for individuals in that field when it comes to mental health and addiction? And how do you help them? Because I know that a lot of your clients and people that you come in contact with are, high achievers and potentially influencers or celebrities. And, that doesn't mean that, you're not helping people that are not in that high achiever, phase, but just share with us how you go about that.
I mean, I think it's such a beautiful question, and there's something that different that happened. So I started in the entertainment business when I was 4. I started doing runway modeling. Then I did print and commercials and things like that. And when you're under 18, my mother was always with me. So you always have to have an adult with you. And then as I noticed when I was 17 shifting, they started to try to like pinpoint me to see how far I was willing to go when I turned 18, which is so inappropriate in so many levels. And you notice with some of these child stars that, listen, there's a kind of, I feel like there's like a 50-50 chance if you are a child star or you've been in entertainment as a child and you go to adult, that there's going to be some hiccups. What has come out now about, the R. Kelly and the P. Diddy stuff, like that has been going on forever. That should not be just this new conversation. We should have done something. And that there's so many people that have been harmed by this, being objectified for their body. You said like getting on, being on the reality shows now, helping people. For me, that's been a heart-filled mission because I was once objectified for my body in my 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years. Now, as a 43-year-old woman, I'm back on, but I'm helping people and I'm a woman of substance, and that just means so much to me. And when you're going in that lifestyle, you're just subjected to so much more. There's generational trauma. It's a lot, it's definitely hard. You see people like Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift has a good family unit. You can tell she has a good support system and core. And then you look at it, I don't want to put anyone out there because I have compassion and love for those that are still struggling. But you can tell whose family just, solicited them and didn't do right by them in that industry.
I agree. I think it's a miracle when you're, a child, exposed to that as a child, how they can, become so famous and then not have any repercussions. So I agree. You talk a lot about lasting change over fleeting success, and you often emphasize the importance of lasting change. And how can you elaborate on that and help clients create sustainable recovery and growth?
Absolutely. So that one just kind of came out of somewhere. I started saying it all the time, and then I made it my motto: creating lasting change. So many people, and including myself, I've been there, so I'm not outing anyone, believe that we're going to do this overnight switch and our lives are going to be completely different. We're going to go from the dark, deep depths of whatever we're going through to feeling great. And in my experience, that does not happen. There's small, actionable steps that need to be taken, and we want to make this. I tell families or anyone that works with me, if you're going to work with me, I don't want to be a band-aid. I don't want to just kind of like, let's find you the right team. Let's find you the right, whether it's they go to a program, or the right psychiatrist, therapist, dietitian, coach, whatever their specific case is, to help them not go back to this, not revert back. Like it's very, you see it too much in mental health, and listen, it's not going to be this beautiful straight line forward. There's going to be bumps in the road, but how do we create lasting change? Something that's going to change your life and give you a new outlook at life, and not feel awful inside and hate yourself, because there's so many people that hate themselves out there, and it's really sad.
Yeah, and I know I'm just going to go off script a little bit, but maybe you could talk a little about the digital addiction, because it's really not just like everybody can experience, has some sort of addiction these days, right? Our phones are, basically creating dopamine in our brains. You hear ting, 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 and it's like for the younger generation. And I know that you were on the reality show Digital Addiction recently, and that's a big problem. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the whole, I mean, I'm 43, so I grew up with that, with a beeper, and then like started to get a cell phone when I was older. Definitely aging myself. But nowadays, like what our children are subjected to so much younger is insane. Like thank goodness for all the controls. Like I have children, I have a 12-year-old and a 19-year-old, and I'm able to control and monitor, especially my under 18, her screen time and what she can see and things like that. But there's just so much out there. Like if you go look at TikTok, you'll be on one video, you're watching, people in South Africa dancing and doing, and then you're seeing somebody with a disability, then you're seeing somebody in business, and then you're seeing somebody famous. Like the way it scrambles your brain, it's like over circuiting you. And so there's this new generation. Well, actually, so for gaming addiction, the age is actually 30 years old. Most people think it's going to be teenagers, but to go from misuse, right, to abuse, and then into the phase of like actual problematic, where they're not having relationships, the hygiene, they're not nutrition, no relationships outside of the virtual world. It's usually around 30 years old. And a lot of people don't have the in-person relationships anymore. They're fine and they're happy in their virtual world, and their needs are getting met, so then they don't want to people in life.
Yeah, that's why it's so important. And I think it's so beautiful that there are resources and people like you that can help, because we all need it. We all need it. It's life is a journey.
Absolutely. And listen, we need the virtual world now too. So like don't be scared of things like AI. Don't be scared of being able to do virtual meetings. We can do a lot with it, but don't forget that human connection is like at our core. Like we need human connection in person, but we also need the virtual world to continue to move forward, So we need
Right.
both.
Agree 1,000%. Absolutely. So this is a cool part of your background too. You have an integrative approach to healing. So how does your background in alternative medicine, and maybe you can speak to that a little bit, influence your approach to mental health and addiction recovery?
Absolutely. So I became an RYT, a registered yoga teacher in 2011. I took a month and I went to Jamaica. My son was 5 and I cleared it with his dad and I Skyped him at the time because that's how we connected. And I really fell in love with some of this, all of this natural, Eastern medicine, and believe that I believe in Western medicine too. So I believe that, we need to do some things, like we can change our diet, we can change our lifestyle, we can change, moving, connecting to something spiritually, eating what our body wants, stopping when we feel full. Like there's so many things I've learned over the years, but the alternative medicine degree, like I started and stopped. I dropped out when I was young, and then I got my GED, and then I went to community school, and then I went to university when I was older, and I graduated at 34, and both of my children were at my graduation. But it was what excited me. Like I loved learning about it, like learning about Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic, but also learning about like, doing the standard classes, like all the chemistries and anatomy and physiology and nutrition. It was very big nutrition focus. And I think that the approach that that I have and my team has is like we meet people where they are. You know, I'm not going to rule out someone because they want to do this and not that. I'm not going to judge them if they do this, not that. I want to find a way to support them. And I think that's been a big change in my field. Not everyone's willing to do that. And I don't want to harm people. I want to help more people.
I love that. That's great. So motherhood and balance. I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, and I know you are right there, and you've got a lot cooking in your professional life and your personal life. So, as a mom of two, how do you balance your personal life with the demands of being a mental health advocate and an entrepreneur and a speaker and an influencer and a reality show star? And the list goes on and on and on. Tell us, what's your secret, my friend?
Okay, well, the idea of balance is a joke. Like, I just don't believe that. I think it's a constant thrival for balancing. I don't think we ever get to this balance, right? And I think that some of us want to get there so bad, and when we don't, then we feel like we're not hitting where we're trying to, like, as achievers, like we're not hitting our goal. I'm not able to find balance. So I'm in a phase right now where I'm kind of, for the past, say, since July, I've been reprioritizing. So I want to reprioritize, and I constantly have to do that with different things that come up in life, So sometimes it's okay, well, now it's the end of the year. I'm doing more speaking, I'm doing more things like that. So what do I need to remove to not make so I'm in the transition right now where I'm doing all, and it's not manageable. And I'm very well aware of that, but I know there's an end date soon, right? There's going to be an end date where I'm going to be making specific changes that are going to help. So I think it's just really being in touch with yourself, talking to your support system, your community. I go to a therapist once a week all the time. I do it on Zoom so that way I don't have to say, oh, I can't make it there. There's traffic or weather or whatever. I make my therapy. So it's just, really listening to yourself. I've learned, and, as a 43-year-old mom of a, 12-year-old and a 19-year-old, that I have to listen to my body. And if I take care of myself, I can show up and take care of my kids the best, take care of my clients the best, be a good partner, all those things.
Great, great, great advice. That's wonderful. I agree. It's hard to balance, and those are some great takeaways. So, tell us some words of wisdom. So, for listeners who may be struggling with addiction, or even listeners who are just struggling just with, the holidays coming up, or life, or the way that things are not linear, like you said, um, what advice would you give them to take the first step to recovery and empowerment?
Absolutely. So yeah, so like when I started next level recovery associates, the focus was like the substance use and the mental health, and now that I work with people that everyone of every walk of life is struggling with something. So there's people that have the body issues, there's people that have gone through a divorce, or young adults that are trying to get out in the world, which is called the failure to launch population, or the digital. So if whatever you're going through, just know that you're not alone. There are people that are going through what you've gone through and gotten to the other side. So take one small actionable step today. I say my one thing that I do is make my bed. I make my bed every day and it makes me feel good. I know it sounds like a really silly thing, or hold the door open for someone, do a nice gesture for someone today. Those things make you feel better about yourself, and they just build, like it's like bricks. It's like putting bricks and making a wall of creating the lasting change. And listen, there's days where you call out of work and you stay in bed and you're not in the mood for life, and that's okay too. Like, give yourself permission to fall short sometimes. And if you are struggling in silence, share with somebody, reach out to a professional. Like most therapists are really good and resourceful. That's like my main partners and what I do are private practice therapists and psychiatrists. They're, you know, the trainings that they have today, they're really incredible individuals, and they do it because they love it, you know? So reach out to a therapist, reach out to me, reach out to somebody that can help you, and just don't stay stuck in it alone. We have one life to live.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So one of the things that I love about you, Amanda, is that you're so accessible. Like I've seen you in action and you welcome everyone and you want to connect with people. And so for those people who want to reach out to you, I know that you have a huge following on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and what's the best place to reach out to you, to connect with you, to learn more?
Absolutely. Yes. I love meeting new people and hearing people's stories and connecting. Like it just lights me up inside, and especially women. I love you too, men, but I just love women that are, you know, on a journey to like, you know, just maybe do a little better tomorrow. So you can find me on LinkedIn as Amanda Marino. I'm pretty easily to find on there. You'll see this face. And then on Instagram and TikTok, I'm Amanda Marino Official. So you can find me on there as well. And, you know, Next Level Recovery Associates is my business, but then I'm also launching a couple of new things in the new year. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before we close?
Yes, I did make it. Yes, I did make the announcement last night at a work dinner. So I am starting Next Level Wellness, which is going to expand on what I've done with people in mental health and behavioral health, because I'm getting referred a lot more individuals that have not. Maybe if there is some mental health, maybe it's some depression or some, you know, just fear of the world, things like that. Like, you know, people going through divorce, trying to figure out their life, big changes, you know, co-parenting, different things like that. So this is incorporating things that are outside, like just everyone's life stuff. And then also AmandaMarinoSpeaks.com is launching too in the new year. And that's going to be, you know, all geared to my professional speaking.
Awesome. Yeah. So if anybody needs a speaker, this woman is amazing. You can reach out on social media. So thank you so much, Amanda. What an inspirational interview. I'm sure the audience will love it. And thank you to CityBiz. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, City Biz. Thank you, Cindy.